gamers, hi chat. How is everyone doing? Sorry I was late. There were more works to do and relax. I also have an emergency meeting, which is not that long, fortunately, but still, emergency meeting is never fun. Oh god. Did I say yesterday I want to rest? Today I was hoping I could go into the book more, but there wasn't any chance. And if I had the opportunity to read more on the books, I might not stream right now. But since I needed an excuse to get me into the mood of reading, I thought I might as well do the usual, answering to people's letters in kind words and read at least the first part of the book, the introduction, or maybe chapter 1 if you have enough energy. The book that I'm reading today is this one. I've shown this a few times at the start of my reading. I think yesterday during the Robocop thing. This is Neocolonialism, the late stage of imperialism by Kwame Nkrumah. I'm going to butcher his name because he is from Ghana and I cannot speak the language that they use there, which I don't even know what. But Kwame Nkrumah is he was, I forgot what year. I think it's 1960 something. He was the president of, I think he became the president in around 1960, if I'm not mistaken. And before that he was the prime minister, so he is someone who ranked up in the political sphere of Ghana with, honest means. Like, he actually climbed ladders to finally be elected democratically as the president of the country. And then this is still during apartheid, if I'm not mistaken. Is Ghana part of the apartheid? I should read more on that. But anyway, without talking about the broader context of Africa, he became the president in 1965. He is the president of Ghana in 1965, and he managed to get the deal with America to get financial aid from them, which America was doing a lot at that time. Not of the goodness of their heart, of course, but because they want to control the political landscape of the country where they're sending aid to. So it is mostly as a soft power tool. I think people who is into politics understand this. Things like US aid, it is not of the goodness of the American government. Is because they want to influence the politics of the countries where they're sending aid to. So if your country like Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, even Vietnam, which they finally let go of the sanction and embargo after it was humiliated at the invasion there. They also send aid to Vietnam, mostly so the royal family there could take control back of the country from the hand of the leftist politicians there. So 1965, Kwame managed to get a deal around $100 million to get financial aid from US, but then he released this book, Neocolonialism and the Last Stage of Imperialism, which talks about the use of financial aid to influence politics. And America doesn't like that, so they canceled the aid. And then in 1966, if I'm not mistaken, they founded a coup by I think it was the military in Ghana. So in 1966, he is no longer the president of Ghana, but the guy that America chose to become the president is the one that became the new president. And Ghana has never been the same since then, because after the president changed, America sent the aid, and now they are the one controlling the politicians there. So that was the background of the book. That was the background of the writer, which in itself is already enough for me to want to read the book. But I've read into a few pages of the introduction, and it is really good. I can see why America doesn't want this to be published. I can see why they punish Kwame for publishing it too, because it is good. It's good. So I'm going to read the introduction for that later, the introduction part of the book. Right now, as usual, I want to reply to some letters. 3 letters, and then I read the book. I'm sleeping so much during the day and awake and doing work at night. I'm going to try to stay up for the entire day so I can fix my sleep schedule, but I'm dreading it. I can have caffeine and I have no energy. Yeah. That's a good idea for a temporary solution, but you do eventually need to fix your sleep schedule if your work allows it to. Better for you than sleeping during the day, because to recover your energy better when you sleep at night. Staying awake. Attempt to fix your sleeping pattern. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's because I forgot them about creatures or animals who sleep during the night and creatures who sleep during the day. We're a creature who sleep during the night, so our REM and everything is just better when we sleep at night or at least in the dark. That's a big part of why it's better for you to sleep during the night in comparison to if you are an owl. You know what I mean? I wonder if I'm making any sense. I am very tired. Find themselves. Meanwhile, I'm alone and seriously overeating and not any healthy food. Trying to get back on track, but it's so hard. How do you avoid over-snacking? Is a very common way for people to deal with stress. Your body accepts it as a habit if you don't try to challenge it. I'd recommend it for is messing you up, and also to build a healthier habit for you to feel stress or physical. What is the bad habit that we form in order to deal with stress, anxiety, etc. is unfortunately bad habit. Scrolling on your phone is one of them, but that's also because a lot of the products surrounding both food, the industry surrounding food and the industry surrounding social media and scrolling on your phone is built in a way that took advantage of your weaknesses. So that's why a lot of people got addicted to them and built a bad habit surrounding them. It is because the industry itself is built to catch you, if that makes sense. So it's not fully your fault, but of course there's also a little hint of personal accountability that need to go into it. Still, it's not entirely your fault. It's the the big percentage of the cost of it is because those industry paid millions and even billions in order to be able to get people to be addicted to them. I feel upset because my friends spends more time with toxic content creator friends. Some make me uncomfortable and it's hard to speak up. I feel pushed aside and overwhelmed by drama, and social anxiety makes making new friends really hard. I don't know what to do. Doesn't matter. It's just I'm curious about it, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. The news is that the same person. What sounds like insanity. Which is why you feel uncomfortable hanging out with people who are okay with whatever toxicity that gets them attention. And unfortunately, money. If you don't care about anything moral or anything like that, you can just be a content creator that thrives on toxicity. Because nowadays, with the way the world is, because of capitalism, I'm going to say the C word there, the world is very hard. It's hard to survive in the world. So a lot of people felt like they don't have control on their own life. And then there are people on the internet who took advantage of that, like the toxic content creators, for example, where they can make their watcher feels like they had some control of their life by taking control away from other people, which is what usually being toxic on the internet means nowadays, is that And unfortunately, those kind of contents makes people watch them because it is insane what they are doing, first of all. So a lot of people also just watch them because they hate watch it. It's rage bait, and the bait is unfortunately very good bait. And the second reason is because a lot of people feel like if in a world where nothing makes sense, you might as well do anything you want. So it's okay being toxic, because if you are being good, you're not getting rewarded with anything just for being good. You need to be good as a person and also be good at something else, and hardworking and everything, and very lucky too, in order to be rewarded. So just that's why a lot of people then shift towards being more toxic on the internet, especially because being on the internet is free for the most part. That is the current problem with internet toxicity. At least you can boil it down to that. I think it's better if you cut them off as soon as possible, because it is going to affect you negatively whether you choose to not speak up open or even embrace So, this is Neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism by Kwame Nkrumah. This book is dedicated to the freedom fighters of Africa, living and dead. This is also the continuation of my reading about capitalism. And the last book I read is Imperialism, the Last Stage of Capitalism, which is talking about imperialism as a monopoly of basically a monopoly of everything, because the way imperialists works nowadays is they are trying to monopolize almost every industry they're in, especially the elite class and the ruling class. So this is basically the sequel to the topic of that, because that is introducing imperialism, and this is introducing the next stage after imperialism, which is neocolonialism. So the introduction. The neocolonialism of today represents imperialism in its final and perhaps its most dangerous stage. In the past, it was possible to convert a country upon which a neocolonial regime had been imposed. Egypt in the 19th century is an example into a colonial territory. Today, this process is no longer feasible. Old-fashioned colonialism is by no means entirely abolished. It still constitutes an African problem, but it is everywhere on the retreat. So a lot of colonialism, old-fashioned colonialism, which is you go into another country and attacking them, subjugating them, a lot of them has died out, and some people even call the war as peaceful nowadays, which is not. A lot of nation or even just states is still under oppression not for the most part, but still a lot. Palestine, for example, Congo in Sudan, and then there's also Papua. And there are a few more, but I can't think of them at the top of my head. But yeah, there's still some area that is unfortunately still undergoing war, because the industrial military complex is still very, very active, and they have to find excuses to invade other countries or to attack other countries in order for those industries to still be able to make money by selling their weapons. So while it is yes, it has been reduced quite a lot, but it still hasn't ended, which the author has said. Once a territory has become normally independent, it is no longer possible, as it was in the last century, to reverse the process. Existing colonies may linger on, but no new colonies will be created. In place of colonialism as the main instrument of imperialism, we have today neocolonialism. The essence of neocolonialism is that the state which is subject to it is, in theory, independent and has all the outward trappings of international sovereignty. In reality, its economic system and thus its political policy is directed from outside. The methods and form of this direction can take various shapes. For example, in an extreme case, the troops of the imperial power may garrison the territory of the neocolonial state and control the government of it. More often, however, neocolonialist control is exercised through economic or monetary means. The neocolonial state may be obliged to take the manufactured products of the imperialist power to the exclusion of competing products from elsewhere. Control over government policy in the neocolonial state may be secured by payments toward the cost of one state, by the provision of civil servant imposition where they can dictate policy, and by monetary control over foreign exchange through the imposition of a banking system controlled by the imperial power. This is why the America World Bank and the IMF is taking control of the banking system of most countries, I guess. It's so they can keep them poor. When neocolonialism exists, the power exercising control is often the state which formally ruled the territory in question, but this is not necessarily so. For example, in the case of South Vietnam, the former imperial power was France, but neocolonial control of the state has now gone to the United States. It is possible that the neocolonial control may be exercised by a consortium of financial interests which are not specifically identifiable with any particular state. The control of the Congo by great international financial concern is a case in point. The result of neocolonialism is that foreign capital is used for the exploitation rather than for the development of the less developed part of the world. Investment under neocolonialism increases rather than decreases the gap between the rich and the poor countries of the world. The struggle against neocolonialism is not aimed at excluding the capital of the developed world from operating in less developed countries. It is aimed at preventing the financial power of the developed countries being used in such a way as to impoverish the less developed. And that sentence alone is enough for America to stop sending aid to Ghana. Because by releasing this book, Kwame basically said that no, America don't get to control what he will try to use the money for, which is mostly to try to increase the economy of the country by non-capitalistic means. So it's not going to neoliberalize the country, and instead it is going to try to raise the standard of living of the working class, so they have more time for the state or the country, which is not going to be I'm not going to say it's not going to be too beneficial, which might actually address the issue of the country and makes them become more and more independent to the debt to that country. And so if Ghana actually do all the right thing, if Kwame in Ghana did do all the right thing he can do using the aid, Ghana will eventually become independent from their debt to the United States. So what America did usually is to try to control how those aids are being used enough to keep those countries poor, instead of reducing the gap in inequality, so there's more labor, etc. They're going to neoliberalize it, privatize things that are used to be free, deregulate the law that kept industries and corporates in check, etc. Non-alignment, as practiced by Ghana and many other countries, is based on cooperation with all states, whether they be capitalist, socialist, or have a mixed economy. Such a policy, therefore, involves foreign investment from capitalist countries, but it must be invested in accordance with the national plan, drawn up by the government of the neo-aligned state with its own interest in mind. Oh God, I am so tired. I'm not going to end the stream after the introduction. The issue is not what return the foreign investor receives on his investment. He may in fact do better for himself if he invests in a non-aligned country than if he invests in a neocolonial one. The question is one of power. A state in the grip of neocolonialism is not master of its own destiny. It is this factor which makes neocolonialism such a serious threat to world peace. The growth of nuclear weapons has made out of date the old-fashioned balance of power which rested upon the ultimate sanction of a major war. Certainty of mutual mass destruction effectively prevents either of the great power blocks from threatening the other with the possibility of a worldwide war. And military conflict has thus become confined to limited wars, for this neocolonialism is the breeding ground. Such wars can, of course, take place in countries which are not neocolonialist controlled. Indeed, their object may be to establish in a small but independent country a neocolonialist regime. The evil of neocolonialism is that it prevents the formation of those large units which would make impossible limited war. To give one example, if Africa was united, no major power bloc would attempt to subdue it by limited war because from the very nature of limited war, what can be achieved by it is itself limited. It is only where small states exist that it is possible, by lending a few thousand marines or by financing a mercenary force, to secure a decisive result. So, a lot of the capitalist countries like America, British, will try to keep the countries they gave aid to so they stay poor, not only so they are going to stay in debt forever, but also so that America will always be the number one. It's America first policy, right? Because that way, America can hold its homogeneous grip on the state of the world, because they will keep being the number one country in the world, in theory at least. And if a country has managed to overcome their debt, become first world country, they might prove to be a threat to this monopoly of power. So that's why a lot of the poor countries that America is sending aid to will be kept to stay poor, at least in comparison to America. Limited war, once embarked upon, achieve a momentum on its own. Of this, the war in South Vietnam is only one example. It escalates despite the desire of the great power blocs to keep it limited. While this particular war may be presented from leading to a war conflict, the multiplication of similar limited wars can only have one end: world war and the terrible consequences of nuclear conflict. Neocolonialism is also the worst form of imperialism. For those who practice it, it means power without responsibility, and for those who suffer from it, it means exploitation without redress. In the days of old-fashioned colonialism, the imperial power had at least to explain and justify at home the notion it was talking about. In the colony, those who assert the role in the imperial power could do at least work to its government. Sleep for people reading the report. Let me try to wash my face and then read a few more letters and then I'll continue reading. The book itself, as I said, is really good. It addresses, just on the introduction alone, it addresses what neocolonialism is and what Western imperial are doing with. And once you know what it is, if you saw it, you immediately recognize it. That's why this book is prevented to happen.
Engage.
God damn. Tomorrow morning, I also have an early meeting at the office. So, oops, forgot about that. I do need to sleep early today, so I'm not going to wake up late. But still fine. It's not even 7 yet. Well, it's 6 minutes before 7, so I feel so stagnant. After injuring myself, I've returned to my old ways of addiction and imbalance. My medication messes with me, and I haven't studied enough for my exams, afraid to use them to help me. I see. I think he used to be addicted to something, maybe some substance, drugs, and then they stopped, and then they got injured, and the medication is addictive. Is the medication the addictive substance that you were addicted before? But if your injury needs them, you have to find a way to take them. Responsibly, or at least safely. Maybe try to give the meds to a friend or family, and would only take the meds after asking for them. After asking them. Try not to do this on your own. If you can. But you will. Good luck with the test. Yep. That's all I have. Long distance relationships ending April 2026. That's next year. Lately, felt like her love towards me has waned, which makes me so anxious I can't even sleep. She's reassuring, but has a lot on her plate. Oh, and the long distance end in April 2026, maybe. Not the relationship. How to last 6 months? If she is reassuring, and if she is reassuring, then there is a high chance that what you felt is coming from your own insecurity. Which means that you have a trust issue that you will eventually have to figure out what is causing it. Try to communicate with your partner. That's what a relationship is for. Okay, let's do it. One. The answer for that. Just got rejected. I tend to take those things personally, but it will always sting for anyone. It just sucks it's coming from my best friend. Cause now I feel like I've made things weird. But I guess you miss 100% of the shots you don't take though, right? Yeah? Yes, but you do miss 100% of the shot you don't take. But also, yes, you should not take those things personally. Which is easier said than done, especially especially with people You already have a play. Existing relation? What's the word? You are different with them before you shoot your shot. Relation with friends. So now that in that friendship, the other person will always question if you only get close to them. So you can further that friendship be more than one. But if you consider them friend, time will eventually like that. This feels like a generalized answer, which I don't really like. Try to take your time to keep that friendship. And patience. Okay, let's try to read further into this. Okay, where was I? Neocolonialism is also the worst form of imperialism. For those who practice it, it means power without responsibility, and for those who suffer from it, it means exploitation without redress. In the days of old-fashioned colonialism, the imperial power had at least to explain and justify at home the action he was taking abroad. For example, trying to romanticize colonization with spirit of exploration and liberty, which we know is bullshit because those are just greedy people who wanted to take more. In the colony, those who served the ruling imperial power could at least look to its protection against any violent move by their opponents. With neocolonialism, neither is the case. So traditional colonialism, while brutal in its own way, they do need to protect the territory that they colonize. With Vietnam, for example, when France colonized them and Japan attacked, fascist Japan attacked before World War II, I think. Before World War II. The French should have defended Vietnam, but they did not. The royal family of Vietnam fled the country, and so does the colonialist France. So Ho Chi Minh and the resistance group that he built, I forgot the name, is the one that defended the country from Japan. Which I know it's more complicated than that, or not complicated, it's longer than that, there's more context to it, but that's basically it. So a lot of the territory that people colonize, if they got attacked by another country, the colonizer at least try to defend it, which still doesn't excuse the colonization, but at least they do try to defend it. But in neo-colonization, like for example, America neo-colonized Indonesia, and America did not offer protection at all to Indonesian or the Indonesian people, because the money that they offered, the aid, as I mentioned, is just to further neoliberalize the country. But the exploitation still happens. So in a lot of sense, it is much worse. A reasonable proportion of the state have a neo-colonialist system. It is not necessary that they all should have one. Unless small states can combine, they must be compelled to sell their primary products at prices dictated by the developed nation and buy their manufactured goods at the prices fixed by them. So long as neocolonialism can prevent political and economic conditions for optimum development, the developing countries, whether they are under neocolonialist control or not, will be unable to create a large enough market to support industrialization. In the same way, they will lack the financial strength to force the developed countries to accept their primary product at a fair price. In the neo-colonialist territories, since the former colonial power has in theory relinquished political control, if the social condition occasioned by neo-colonialism cause a revolt, the local neo-colonialist government can be sacrificed and another equally subservient one substituted in its place. That is nuts that he wrote that, because after this book was released, as I mentioned, US backed a coup in Ghana to take down the author. On the other hand, in any continent where neocolonialism exists on a wide scale, the same social pressure which can produce revolts in neocolonial territories will also affect those states which have refused to accept the system, and therefore no neocolonialist nation have a ready-made weapon with which they can threaten their opponents if they appear successfully to be challenging the system. So the capitalist system needs to be upheld. At least the status quo, the capitalist system, even if it's not worsening, which unfortunately rarely happen, because they usually worsen. The neo-colonialist state, the America, will always want more, so the country that they neo-colonize will always put up policies that makes the country worse for its people. These advantages, which seem at first sight so obvious, are however on examination illusory because they fail to take into consideration the facts of the world today. The introduction of neocolonialism increases the rivalry between the great powers which was provoked by the old-style colonialism. However little real power the government of a neocolonial state may possess, it must have, from the very fact of its nominal independence, a certain area of maneuver. It may not be able to exist without a neocolonialist master, but it may still have the ability to change masters. The ideal neocolonialist state would be one which was wholly subservient to neocolonialist interests, but the existence of the socialist nation makes it impossible to enforce the full rigor of the neocolonialist system. Which is why America tried to take down many countries that is using the socialist system. They've taken down Soviet in a lot of sense, even though a big part of it is also the country is doing political suicide. But they've done a lot to make sure that socialist state will fail. A lot of the argument why socialist is not good from America or from British or from any capitalist, main capital of capitalism, will always try to say that socialists will never work, and the example they use is socialist country that they have invaded or at least funded a coup in order to take down the elected leader or a leader that has made some good progress. In Africa, America have done a few things in Africa. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 US funded coup, and there's also one in Chile. There's one in Vietnam, there's even one in China. There's a few in Indonesia. One of them is the most successful one, which is the Jakarta method. And there's also in Korea. I forgot where else. A lot. There's so many countries that they did this. And then they had the goal to say that no, socialism doesn't work. Look at this country that we made worse. Assholes. The existence of an alternative system is itself a challenge to the neocolonialist regime. Warnings about the danger of communist subversion are likely to be two-edged since they bring to the notice of those living under a neocolonial system the possibility of a change of regime. In fact, neocolonialism is the victim of its own contradictions. In order to make it attractive to those upon whom it is practiced, it must be shown as capable of raising their living standards. But the economic object of neocolonialism is to keep those standards depressed in the interest of the developed countries. It is only when this contradiction is understood that the failure of innumerable aid programs many of them well-intentioned, can be explained. In the first place, the rulers of neocolonial states derive their authority to govern not from the will of the people, but from the support which they obtain from their neocolonialist masters. They have therefore little interest in developing education, strengthening the bargaining power of their worker employed by expatriate firms, or indeed of taking any step which would challenge the colonial pattern of commerce and industry, which it is the object of neocolonialism to preserve. Aid, therefore, to a neocolonial state is merely a revolving credit paid by the neocolonial master, passing through the neocolonial state and returning to the neocolonial master in the form of increased profits. Secondly, it is in the field of aid that the rivalry of individual developed states first manifests itself. So long as neocolonialism persists, so long will sphere of interest persist, and this makes multilateral aid, which is in fact the only effective form of aid, impossible. Once multilateral aid begins, the neocolonialist masters are faced by the hostility of the vested interests in their own country. Their manufacturers naturally object to any attempt to raise the price of the raw materials which they obtain from the neocolonialist territory in question, or to the establishment there of manufacturing industry which might compete directly or indirectly with their own export to the territory. Even education is suspect as likely to produce a student movement, and it is of course true that in many less developed countries, the students have been in the vanguard of the fight against neocolonialism. Under capitalism, a country who neocolonize other countries, again as an example, America, because it is unfortunately right now is the head of the imperial. A lot of the corporate that donated so that champion certain politicians there, like the Super PAC, for example, Super PAC, which is the most famous billionaire lobbying group from America, have donated millions into elected officials, not of their own, not out of the goodness of their own heart, not because of their interest in politics that try to make life better for the people, but for their own interests. One of those interests is trying to get labor for cheap from other less developed countries, or try to get cheap materials from less developed countries. Because the same product that they buy from, for example, Indonesia again, is much cheaper compared to the same material that they bought from America. Indonesia, China, the same thing. And they will try to keep those prices low, even though they should have priced it higher, or at least, even if it's not as high as the original price they're paying at the country, they should be able to price it much more higher than the ones that they currently give, but they won't, because the interest of these corporates is only profit margins and nothing else. In the end, the situation arises that the only type of aid which the neocolonialist master consider as safe is military aid. Once a neocolonialist territory is brought to such a state of economic chaos and misery that revolt actually breaks out, then and only then is there no limit to the generosity of the neocolonial overlord, provided of course that the funds supplied are utilized exclusively for military purposes. Military aid in fact marks the last stage of neocolonialism, and its effect is self-destructive. Sooner or later, the weapons supplied pass into the hands of the opponents of the neocolonialist regime, and the war itself increases the social misery which originally provoked it. Neocolonialism is a millstone around the necks of the developed countries which practice it. Unless they can rid themselves of it, it will drown them. Previously, the developed powers could escape from the contradiction of neocolonialism by substituting for it direct colonialism. Such a solution is no longer possible, and the reason for it have been well explained by Mr. Owen Lattimore, the United States Far Eastern expert and advisor to Chiang Kai-shek in the immediate post-war period. He wrote, "Asia, which was so easily and swiftly subjugated by conquerors in the 18th and 19th centuries, displayed an amazing ability stubbornly to resist modern armies equipped with aeroplanes, tanks, motor vehicles, and mobile artillery. Formerly, big territories were conquered in Asia with small force income, first of all, from plunder, then from direct taxes, and lastly from trade. Capital investment and long-term exploitation offer with incredible speed and expenditure for military operations. This arithmetic represented a great temptation to strong countries. Now they have run up against another arithmetic, and it discourages them. The same arithmetic is likely to apply throughout the less developed world. This book is therefore an attempt to examine neocolonialism not only in its African context and its relation to African unity, but in world perspective. Neocolonialism is by no means exclusively an African question. Long before it was practiced on any large scale in Africa, it was an established system in other parts of the world. Nowhere has it proved successful, either in raising living standards or in ultimately benefiting the countries which have indulged in it. Marx predicted that the growing gap between the wealth of the possessing class and the workers it employs will ultimately produce a conflict fatal to capitalism in its individual capitalist state. This conflict between the rich and the poor has now been transferred on to the international scene. But for proof of what is acknowledged to be happening, it is no longer necessary to consult the classic Marxist writers. The situation is set out with the utmost clarity in the leading organs of capitalist opinion. Take for example the following extract from the Wall Street Journal, the newspaper which perhaps best reflects United States capitalist thinking. In its issue of 12 May 1965, under the headline of Poor Nation Plague, the paper first analyzes which countries are considered industrial and which backward. There is, it explains, no rigid method of classification. Nevertheless, it points out a generally used breakdown, however, has recently been maintained by the International Monetary Fund because in the word of an IMF official, the economic demarcation in the world is getting increasingly apparent. That breakdown, the official says, is based on simple common sense. In the IMF's view, the industrial countries are the United States, the United Kingdom, most West European nations, Canada, and Japan. A special category called Other Developed Areas includes such other European lands as Finland, Greece, and Ireland, plus Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. The IMF's less developed category embraces all of Latin America and nearly all of the Middle East, non-communist Asia, and Africa. In other words, the backward countries are those situated in the neo-colonial areas. After quoting figures to support its argument, the Wall Street Journal comments on the situation. Industrial nations have added nearly 2 billion to their reserves, which now approximate 52 billion. At the same time, the reserve of the less developed group not only have stopped rising but have declined some 200 million. To analysts such as Britain Misward, the significance of such statistics is clear. The economic gap is rapidly widening between a white, complacent, highly bourgeoisie, very wealthy, very small North Atlantic elite, and everybody else, and this is not a very comfortable heritage to leave to one's children. Everybody else includes approximately 2/3 of the population of the earth, spread through about 100 nations. This is no new problem. In the opening paragraph of his book, The War on World Poverty, written in 1953, the present British Labour leader Mr. Harold Wilson summarized the major problem of the world as he then saw it. For the vast majority of mankind, and the most urgent problem is not war or communism or the cost of living or taxation, it is hunger. Over 1,500,000,000 people, something like 2/3 of the world population, are living in condition of acute hunger, defined in terms of identifiable nutritional disease. This hunger is at the same time the effect and the cause of the poverty, squalor, and misery in which they live. Its consequences are likewise understood. The correspondent of the Wall Street Journal, previously quoted, underlines them. Many diplomats and economists view the implication as overwhelmingly and dangerously political. Unless the present decline can be reversed, this analysts fear the United States and other wealthy industrial power of the West face the distinct possibility, in the words of British economist Barbara Ward, of a sort of international class war, which do need to happen soon. What is lacking are any positive proposals for dealing with the situation. All that Wall Street Journal correspondent can do is to point out that the traditional methods recommended for curing the evils are only likely to make the situation worse. It has been argued that the developed nation should effectively assist the poorer part of the world, and that the whole world should be turned into a welfare state. However, there seems little prospect that anything of this sort could be achieved. The so-called aid programs to help backward economic represent, according to a rough UN estimate, only 1/2 of 1% of the total income of industrial countries. But when it comes to the prospect of increasing such aid, the mood is one of pessimism. A large school of thought holds that expanded share-the-wealth schemes are idealistic and impractical. This school contains climate, undeveloped human skill, lack of natural resources, and other factors, not just lack of money. Little economic progress is in many of these lands, and that the countries lack personnel with the training or will to use vastly expanded aid effectively. Share the wealth schemes, according to this view, would be like pouring money down a bottomless well, weakening the donor nation without effectively curing the ills of the recipients. The absurdity of this argument is demonstrated by the fact that every one of the reasons quoted to prove why the less developed parts of the world cannot be developed applied equally strongly to the present developed countries in the period prior to their development. The argument is only true in this sense. The less developed world will not become developed through the goodwill or generosity of the developed powers. It can only become developed through a struggle against external forces which have vested interests keeping it undeveloped. Of these forces, neocolonialism is at this stage of history the principal. I propose to analyze neocolonialism first by examining the state of the African continent and showing how neocolonialism at the moment keeps it artificially poor. Next, I propose to show how in practice African unity, which in itself can only be established by the defeat of neocolonialism, could immensely raise African living standards. From this beginning, I propose to examine neocolonialism generally, first historically and then by a consideration of the great international monopolies, whose continued strengthhold of the neocolonial sectors of the world ensures the continuation of the system. And that is the introduction to neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. Which, if you've been listening, that is where the focus of the book is going to be. First is to establish what is neocolonialism, how it is being practiced, by looking at how they did it to Africa. And using this example, since they are using the same playbook everywhere, you can then look to your own country and see if it is subject to neocolonialism or not, which is very easy to see. The easiest example of this is if your country have US aid, then you are most likely under neocolonialism, because that is what US aid is for. For its main purpose is that there are people who want to use it for good, but unfortunately it was made and it was established and used mostly to keep the underdeveloped world as poor, by making sure that the people who took those aids will do things that makes US receive more profit in exchange for those aids, which is why both Democrats and Republicans in America is panicking when Donald Trump cut down US aid, is because of that reason. Because there are a lot of profits that America made by sending US aid to other countries. I think the worst example of this is the US aid that they sent to Afghan. In the parcel of the 8, there are books that are meant to teach kids about literacy and then math, and a lot of them contain extremist messaging. Like for example, the book about mathematics. The example given in the mathematics question is about bombs, about guns, and even have drawings of them, drawings of AK-47, drawing of grenades. You can just look it up. I hate how that term is co-opted by the right wings, because you can look it up if you just Google UF8 Afghan mathematics for children, for example. I think I can do that here. Yeah, I can. Can you see this? These are meant for children. This is US 8. And because this is aid that also comes with money, the government of Afghan have to give this to schools, and children have to use them, because if not, there is a risk that the aid will be taken back. So this is what children in Afghan are reading. That is what the book means by neocolonialism. It is imperialist countries like America, like United States, United Kingdom, using debt as a shackle. That's it for the book. Read 3 more letters and reply to 3 more letters, and then that's it. I'm in the stream. I really need to rest. I feel really blocked out of my creative side at the moment. I want to come up with things, but I just can't. I really want to say I can do things for people, but when I feel like this, I have no confidence to even pretend. What do you mean do things? What does doing things for other people have to do with your creative side? That doesn't make much sense. take a rest, and then when you get your energy back, go back go socialize again. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but my brain is too tired to figure out the correct words to say. Recommend some good music albums and tell me about your day. Don't take my mind off things. Recommend mine. I recommend Twisted Crystal, Backward Lotus, is late here in Japan. Autumn is coming and the sweet potato sweet chips built to 7-Eleven. Some of the albums that I've been listening it's interesting. Okay, I'll try that. Thank you for your recommendation. Been very busy, but also glad that I can still be busy in this economy, I guess. This one below by cover also the clipping album is also really good. The electronic album is not, I did not enjoy it as much. The new Tally Rank not really the new, but the 10th anniversary album of Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion is very good. The new Miley Cyrus album is actually really good. Hey, Party of Two, yeah, Party of Two is also very good. Sepek Mafia new album, or the director's cut of Scaring the Host is very good. Hayley Williams new album, Ego Dead at the Bachelorette is really good. I've been listening to a lot. I'm still looking forward to the new Radio Genesis Owusu. I think that's still a long time coming. He only just released one single after all, and I've been bumping that a lot, especially during workout. Joji also just released a new single, which is very worrying because it felt like half of a song, if that makes sense. It felt like it's a very good song, but it's also very short. It felt like he had an idea to how to make half of the song and then stop giving us, and then just stop. He gave up halfway through the song because he don't know how to make the other half of the song. And I'm worried that is the case because his previous album, which have I think my favorite song that Joji ever released, which is A Glimpse of Us. I think it's a very good minimalist song that had a lot of heart in it, and it's one of the best songs that Joji has ever released. But then most of the album is just basically there's even a blah 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 demo, which is just demo. If this is not being released as an album but as an EP, that makes much more sense because it felt like an EP. It felt like just a concept mixtape song ideas instead of songs, if that makes sense. Why am I talking about Joji now? Party of Two is from they used to be another band named Group Therapy, and then one of the members is gone, so they changed into a duo and rebrand the group into Party of Two. Their new album, America's Next Top Party, is really good. I also really enjoyed a lot Inertia. It's maybe too political for most people, but I don't mind it. One more. Writing emails back to people is hard. Yes, there are so many email pen pals, but my partner came out as NB. And I think that this is the same person. Come on, man. I know that a lot of people who struggle with mental health issues like depression just wanted to be heard for the most part, because it gave them some comfort that people are listening, and it gave them even more comfort if people send encouragement, send positive messages. But sometimes that's not enough. A lot of the time that's not enough. You do eventually need to try to deal with whatever it is that is causing the depression. It seems like you've written a lot of notes here about this issue, which it is true if you get some comfort from it by telling other people and not maybe even some encouragement. So you don't feel like you are alone in this, but you do eventually need to tackle on whatever it is that is causing your depression. Try to communicate with your partner on this. And also, if you can get a professional help. Yeah. That's about it for today's stream. It's a short one, and the introduction to the book is also a short one. And I think I fell asleep a few times during reading it because I'm tired. So I'm going to rest now. Thank you guys for watching.